Good morning, ankle pickers. UFC 273 today. We are live, kind of, a little abridged live, but excited to be here nonetheless. Danny's pumped. I'm pumped. Reese is awake.
It's rock and roll. One of the best days of the year. We've got moving day at the Masters, one of the best cards of the year, going into a 1 a.m. F1 race. I mean, there's so much fucking gambling potential today. It's just going to be awesome.
Before we jump all the way into each of these fight matchups, we kind of touched on this on the pod. Is there a chance that the three best fighters in the UFC are all fighting today?
I think there's a supreme chance. We were told, I think, at the press conference yesterday, or maybe it was Waves or something along those lines, that if Hamzat does get through Gilbert, he'll see Colby next. And I'm ready to talk about him at the top of the division if he looks good today. Obviously, I could eat those words, and Gilbert could get a quick sub, Poha. But I'm ready to say that we've got the three best fighters that might be in the world.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I mean, it's really easy to have the three best fighters. You got Gilbert Burns, Korean Zombie, and
Jared Van Der
and Aljamain Sterling. So, I mean, that's a pound-for-pound top three there now.
All right, well, as we normally do with these live AVP versions, we're going to roll through the card, bottom to top, talk it through a little bit, talk about kind of the key points, and then we'll go back all the way through, and I'll ask y'all for official plays.
Well, I've got a quick question for you, Kobe. Flipping it around, do we have the worst three fighters on the UFC roster here? Mickey Gall, Fluffy Hernandez, and Jared Vanderhoff all being favorites. Oh, sorry, Gall's not a favorite. My bad.
If Gall's a favorite, I was about to end the live and just go home. Like, just call it. I was going to call it.
All right, well, with that, we actually have a fun one that's going to be our curtain jerker. Julio Arce and Daniel Santos. Reese, on the pod, you were pretty big on Arce. Danny said that stylistically it's a little bit more concerning. Where do we land?
Yeah, so a big takeaway for me was that, so I was zoning in on placing Arce. He did miss weight. He went back to go to cut the rest, and he actually got a little more off, but he still came up a half a pound short. I'm just a little weary of the whole thing. So I'm out of here. I'm not taking that one.
I'm also not touching it. That was one where I'm unsure if Julio's going to be able to get the grappling that he needs to get done to really win this fight. I think that Santos could hurt him.
I don't even know if he needs it. That's what's so interesting about this fight. I'm excited to see how it plays. Don't miss this one, but no need to have action on it.
We have a women's strawweight bout after that. Kay Hansen, a slight underdog to Piero Rodriguez.
Yup, underdog, baby. The system will prevail.
Kay Hansen missed weight by 4 pounds.
Okay, so I know that I've said this stat before, and I know that it hasn't worked out well, but historically, fighters who miss weight usually win. It's like it's in the 60%.
I feel like recently it's been opposite, though.
I agree. No, I agree. I'm just saying when you look at the overall historic landscape of UFC, it is a winning proposition to take the fighter who missed weight. I mean, it is a big advantage. The other thing that I want to note about Kay Hansen is she didn't really go back to get the weight done. I think she missed by 4.
Yeah, 4.
Well, I think she missed by 4.5, and then she had an extra hour and missed by 4. I think she kind of just phoned it in. So I'm not getting 4 off. So that's why it's a little bit different than the Arce situation. But I don't know. I mean, Dan, are you still thinking the dog there?
So yeah, I'm gonna go with a couple different sciences here. This is not a fun play. This is not something that I'm really excited about by any means. But I'm gonna have one unit on Kay Hansen. It's one, the science. 2, exactly what you were saying about being the heavier fighter and having more time to rehydrate. 3, having just a ton of experience, like having fought in UFC fights, fought and won UFC fights is huge. And we've got a girl coming in with a lot of hype because of a big finish in Contender Series where she was like a -400 or 500 favorite. You're supposed to do that. I think that as a dog, this is a good price for Kay. This is a hold your nose and play kind of play, though.
Yeah. I think, you know what, I'm finalizing my bet tips as we speak, and I think I'll join you on this one. I was initially on the other side. The weight cut looked good for the other side too, but after the main episode, I went back and it's all going to be a game plan implementation thing. If Kay Hansen can implement her game plan, it is her fight to lose. I'm with
Right.
you there.
No, I completely agree. And at a dog price with the experience and the weight, it's too much for me to like pass up. I'm not hammering it to hold your nose, but it's on my mind.
I'm with you.
Alexei Olenek and Jared Bandera is the last early prelim heavyweight bout, and nobody's really excited about this one, but kind of the bottom line is what we got to. No one's really has faith that Jared Bandera is a good heavyweight or a good fighter in the first place, right?
No. I mean,
but he's a favorite.
It's just the heavyweight. It's just what heavyweight is. Are you a body? Yes. Can you throw a fist? Yes. All right, let's see what you got. Like, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. I know these guys have trained, like, I don't know about their whole life, but here's where I'm at on it. Either one of them implement their game, and it'll be a domination in that certain field. I just don't know who it's going to be. I think I might play the under 2.5 minus 220. Because
under.
So the reason why I'm taking I didn't want to do the under 1.5. I want that 2.5. But because there's just so many scenarios in this fight, and very few of them ended unanimous decision. And I know people say that a lot with heavyweight, but this is different because it's not the Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou heavyweight. It's more just the fact that both these fighters have a very easy, clear path to victory. Who's going to implement theirs?
Dan?
I like it. I've got a different play here. This is one that I got to give credit to Gianni the Greek for putting me on this one. But I think it's something where a fight where fighters are 15 years in age difference, the younger one wins like 70% of the time. For me, that was worth a throw. And so I'm going to go 1 unit on Bandera. I know we kind of just got done talking about how he's not a high-level heavyweight, and I'm not expecting this to be a high-level fight, but I am expecting him to be the fresher fighter and the better athlete. And I think that as long as he stays away from the anacondas, like the anaconda chokes and whatnot, and the darces and everything that Alexei Olenek is famous for, I think that Bandera is going to be able to touch him up.
And I'm just going to take a second here to mention this because this is a interesting betting way you could play this. But you could actually play both of these. And it would act as a hedge because it's hard. I mean, there is the chance of winning both, but it's hard to see Olenek winning this one just slow UD, and you have a good shot of getting both done, the under and Bandera. That's an interesting stat. You said Yanni the Greek told you that one?
Yep. Yeah, I was just watching UFC on the line this morning, and this was following Yanni the Greek on this one. I think Bandera is going to be able to touch him up, but it's mainly just that age difference.
Yeah. Keeping it moving here. Keeping it moving. On to prelims. We already talked shit about Mickey Gall. He's got a matchup against Mike Malott. Nobody's a fan of Mickey Gall. No one has faith in him. What else we got to say?
No, I mean look, the dude's like a personality for sure, and I got it. But look, when it comes to betting Mickey Gall, you can't be on his side here. Okay, so how do you bet this fight? The question is, and this is a question I actually am more curious for Dan fight day, is he going to officially be on Mike Malott, or is this just a straight pass? Because I was 50-50.
This is a major pass for me. What it came down to is just looking at Mike Malott. We've got like 2 minutes of octagon time since like 2017 that I've seen, 2015, adding up these numbers here. He's 39-second finish, minute 42 finish, grappling match that doesn't, not a real fight, and then 36-second finish. That's since 2015. It's just not enough for me to go on. Plus, Reese, I don't see you backing a Team Alpha Male guy here in his debut.
Oh, what do you think?
Not a spot.
Yeah, what do you think I am? I'm with you.
A couple of passes.
Yep.
A couple of passes. Another opportunity
actually, with Team Alpha Male, I'm actually going Mickey Gall here. I'm not that great.
With the new information coming to light, Mickey Gall is the sharpest play on the board.
Oh, Team Alpha Male, Mickey Gall plus 600 to sub.
Another opportunity for science. Next up, women's bantamweight, Aspen Ladd and Raquel Pennington. Reese said you're interested in the weigh-ins, but leaning science.
No, so weigh-in looks good for Aspen, which is important. What was weird though is she didn't look bigger. I think she's just a like kind of thicker. You know what I mean? But when you looked at the size, Raquel looked like the bigger fighter. She stood next to. They faced off a couple times, and I was like, wow. I actually think Pennington might be bigger. They both fought at 45. They both made the cuts at 35. There's a pass for me. It's a science or nothing.
Dan?
I'm passing as well. Yeah,
got it.
Excited for the science to keep rolling, but not one I'm looking forward to.
Fluffy Hernandez and Josh Friend, middleweight bout is next up. Dan, you loved the matchup for Fluffy, actually, when we were talking on Wednesday. And Reese, you also you said, what? Fluffy's a guy you tend to fade, but maybe not here.
Yeah. I think that was the direct quote. And Dan, I actually have a little bit of a concern coming in. So when watching film on both of these guys, I mean, I've always known that Hernandez is on the smaller side of 185, like with his frame especially. Fluffy is a good way to describe the man. Josh Friend is humongous. And when I saw them square off, it scared me. It made me happy I didn't necessarily place my Anthony Hernandez yet. Friend is humongous. He is significantly bigger. Is that affecting your play at all?
It is. It is actually the entire reason I'm passing. I was excited for Fluffy here and noticed the same thing at the face-off and in passing.
Yeah, it is sizable. If you haven't seen the face-offs, I know that the UFC did a kind of like a quick little 2-minute clip of all the face-offs. This one's worth watching. It is like, holy shit. We're talking about 6'4" with 76.5 reach, and then Hernandez on the other side is like 6 foot even. Does a 75-inch reach, but it was noticeable. I think this might be a wake-up call for Fluffy to get to 170.
Last prelim, Ian Gary and Darian Weeks. Dan, it keeps looking for the spot to fade guys like Ian Gary. Maybe this isn't it. Still
this
not
isn't it for
on
me.
Darren Weeks.
Yeah, this isn't it for me. Exactly what Kobe said, though. I'm excited. I'm actually going to be rooting pretty heavily for Ian Gary. Give me like a pretty awesome finish or something, just so I can keep that hype train rolling, increase that number in front of the favorite, and hopefully we get a good matchup here in his next fight.
Yeah, I don't have the exact same stance as Danny, but the stance I do have is you could add Ian Gary to a parlay here, if it sweetens it, but you just can't take this straight. There's too much unknowns in this one.
All right, we are on to the main card. Vince Pichel and Marco Madsen going to kick things off on the main card. Our big takeaway on Wednesday was kind of plug your nose and maybe play Vince Pichel. No one's really convinced that Marco Madsen is still as dominant of a wrestler. Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, and it's less so that he's still as dominant. On paper, he's this former Olympian, undefeated fighter with a wrestling base, but it's not the same kind of wrestling that we see from like an Islam Makhachev or later from Hamzat. It's Greco, and Greco does not allude itself to being a great component or the best foundation for building yourself as a fighter. And we've seen it. We've just not – Marco Madsen has not been able to be that dominant wrestler in any of his fights. And I think that Vince Pichel is going to be able to stuff these takedowns and just hurt him. I've come around even more on this Vince Pichel, and I'm not holding my nose anymore. I'm sniffing that Vince Pichel's jockstrap, and this will be a 2-unit play for me.
Yeah, so I'm actually with Danny to a T. I also like the fact that I think Marco Madsen has shown time and time again that he will fade as the fight goes on. Vince Pichel will bring it the entire 15 minutes. There's no fade in Vince Pichel, so I'm excited for that aspect of it too. I agree. I'm a big fan of Vince Pichel here. So I'm having a little bit of a different approach, Dan. I'm going to do 1.5 units on Vince Pichel, and then I'm going to look for a 0.5 live bet at the end of the first round. If Vince Pichel is down, I will take it. If Vince Pichel is close to even, I'll take it. If he's a huge favorite, then I'll take my unit and a half and sweat it out and call it.
Love it.
Mackenzie Dern, Tisha Torres, the second fight on the main card. Mackenzie Dern sitting at a slight favorite.
I love that for the science. This is another one I'll be passing. And I'll be just a little bit disappointed watching this fight because I think that Mackenzie's going to lose, and I love Mackenzie Dern. I'm rooting for her to work her way up to a title contender, to maybe a title fight one day. And I think that Tisha's going to stop her right here, and it's going to take a couple more years/fights.
I don't have that exact same take as Dan, but I do have the ultimate same take of just pass. I can't find an over spot. I can't find, because Dern is just too dangerous. It's too muddy. Pass. Enjoy. Find your rooting interest, but no need to have money here.
Gilbert and Hamzat. I think this is the one I'm most excited for on the card.
Poha, brother.
So size is going to be a problem for Gilbert Burns, right?
Yeah, majorly.
Yeah,
majorly.
You could see it.
Yep. That was the other takeaway from those face-offs yesterday. It's going to be a major, major problem for Gilbert. I even considered looking at the Hamzat inside the distance line, but ultimately said just no. My biggest play of the day is still what I teased during the episode. It's the under 2.5. It's sitting at -225. I'm putting 3 units on it. And I just think that there's so much finishing capability from both these guys. We've seen it from Burns. Obviously, Hamzat has never been hit twice in his first 3 fights and just finishes everyone in a minute. I can see a lot of ways where this doesn't hit the scorecards.
Yeah. Look, I'm at the point where I think I know what's going to happen. I think I know who's going to win. I think the size is going to be a huge factor. This is the one where I just can't do it. I like Poha Burns too much. I teased the idea of putting Hamzat in a parlay. It was Ian. It is a parlay I really, really like. It's Ian Gary, Hamzat Chimaev, and Vince Pichel. And then you could change Hamzat Chimaev with Petr Yan, or just add Petr Yan straight up. Those were 4 or 3 in a row that I feel confident about. But I just love Poha, brother. I can't do it. I love Hamzat too. I'm so conflicted. I'm gonna enjoy this one.
Yeah, can't wait for the next one where we just get to hammer Hamzat against Colby.
Oh, dude, yeah. I don't know though. We'll see. We'll see how he looks here.
Jan Sterling, the title fight, bantamweight division. It's kind of our same takeaway in both these next 2 fights, the Bulk fight and the Jan fight. We think we know who's going to win. The competitor is a really, really skilled mixed martial artist, and the line's just kind of been overbet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
So I actually do have 2 plays that I wound up for this fight. And they're not technically the spots where I thought, or not the spots where I expected to be come the beginning of this week and whatnot. The first is something that we mentioned on the podcast, and it's just too big to pass up. It's Aljo by sub plus 1,000. This is one of the most dangerous submission threats in the sport. I think if he wins, that's his path to victory. I could see it happen. We've seen better fighters get caught. We've seen people dominate for 23 minutes of a fight, 24 minutes of a fight, just to get caught. Plus 1,000 is way too big for me to pass up. I'll be putting half a unit on the plus 1,000. It's just too much.
Yeah, no, that is a slept on line for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then the other place that I'm playing this 1 unit play, I like the under 4.5. You're getting plus money there, plus 105. It's slight. Both Caesars and Betway I'm looking at, but I think there's major value there. These guys have seen each other. I mean, what I've said on the normal episode, or that he takes a little bit to get his reads.
We're losing you, Dan.
Internet.
Internet.
It
I think
gave
you're back.
me a notification that my internet. Okay. Where did I lose? Just at the Aljo play?
Tail end there.
all
I mean, this is live, so fuck it. I'll just keep going.
Yeah, over 4.5. Go back.
No. So it's partially what we mentioned on the episode with Jan being known as a slow starter, but it's more that he's just taking time to get these reads, and when he gets them, he's ferocious. I think that having the previous 4 rounds of reading Aljo is going to make Jan start a lot faster. And like we said, Aljo can just snatch up a limb really quick. We saw it against Corey Sandhagen, especially when they're dry. I think this has a lot of ways to end. I think that both guys have serious power. Both guys are serious grapplers. But the under 4.5, I think, is a great line.
See, I actually like the idea of the over 3.5. Over 2.5 too at only 50 cents higher. You can get over 2.5 at minus 190 over at 5 dimes. It just feels like the better play to me. But I don't know. I hate going on the opposite side of you, so I might pause on that one. And then for the fight straight up, I definitely will be on the Aljo by sub. But look, like the fact of the matter is, Piotr is just different. Piotr is just better. And every time I see this line, it just makes me sick about what happened the first time. We had like 3, 4, 5 units on Jan minus 130. 130. Brutal.
All right, second title fight, featherweight, Volk and TKZ.
Yeah.
Another one that's just been bet up skyrocket high.
Yeah, I think this is the least touchable one too. It's the biggest line, obviously. It's just Volk. I mean, of the 3 guys of Hamzat, Piotr, and Volk, we've seen Volk the closest to being beat. Like, he's been dropped a couple times. He's been caught in submissions. I mean, that 4th round against T-City, both the guillotine and the triangle could have been fight-ending situations. And I think Korean Zombie's capable of all of that. I just don't think that he's better than Volk. I don't like the idea of betting TKZ here, even though I think that this is just – I think he's got high upset potential if you're comparing it to the other 2.
Yeah, I think that part of that finishing aspect is just level of competition. I think Volk by unanimous decision could actually be a play. He hasn't gotten a finish in, I think since like 2018 on his win streak, and he definitely has finishing capabilities, but Korean Zombie's proven to be durable. I mean, his name is fucking Zombie. And, yeah, so it looks like outside of the Chad Mendez finish, which, think about that. I'm mentioning the name Chad Mendez. Like, I don't even know where the fuck Mendez is these days. And he's at beat bare knuckle. He's finished every other fight. Unanimous decision every fight. Elkins, Aldo, Holloway, Ortega. I don't think Korean Zombie is any less durable than those guys. And I don't think that Volk is going to do anything different to get a finish this time around. You can get Volk by decision. Sorry, I should have come in with this. Volk wins by decision at minus 115. So for me, that's the only way to play it, and I'll probably be on that. Volk by decision for probably a unit.
How about an extra 12.5 minutes? You can get Volk TKZ over 3.5 over at 5 dimes at minus 170. That's one that jumped off right when you were talking about how Volk doesn't really have the track record of recent finishes.
Honestly, if you are on that, like, Korean Zombie could do it page, which he absolutely could. You could play both those again, similar to the other thing, because that's an easy double winner too. You could easily win both those. That's another interesting way to play it. 3.5, 170. I don't hate that at all. It's good. Let me put it this way. Here's my storyline for tonight. I don't think belts change hands. I don't know what's going to happen in the fights, but I think we're due for a long night of fights. I think Aljo Jan goes a while. I think Mackenzie Dern, Tisha Torres goes a while. I think Vince Bichelle, Marco Madsen goes a while, and I think the main event goes a while. So I think there's going to be a lot of fight time. Hopefully, it's action-packed.
I'm with you aside from the Aljo Jan. I think there's a finish there.
Well, we're live, so we can clip that chat and throw it in his face. Last time I told him to clip that chat, I said Cody Stamen is next level. That aged poorly. Let's go
All right.
clip that chat next week.
Time for rapid fire, and then we'll jump and finish it up with the ankle lock. Rapid fire, this is probably the most important part of the week, especially on these pay-per-view fight weeks. Because it's really simple, just brass tacks. What are the plays? You guys are green cappers. We know that. So let's just roll through these. Again, back to front. Julio Arce, Daniel Santos. Daniel, what?
Nothing for me.
Reese?
Nothing.
Rodriguez Hansen.
I think we're both biting the bullet with the K. Hansen science play.
We are.
Olenek Vandera.
Another one plugging my nose and playing Jared Vandera.
Yeah, and then I'm taking the under.
Mickey Gall, Mike Malott.
Under 2.5. It's adjusted under. Sorry. Under 2.5 on that Olenek Vandera. It's an adjusted under. The 1.5, although I do think it also hits, I want that extra 5 minutes.
Gall Malott.
Nothing for me.
Aspen Ladd, Raquel Pennington.
That's another one I'm passing on.
Me too. Nothing doing.
Fluffy and Friend.
That one I'm also passing.
Me too. Size is the factor. I'm passing.
Ian Gary, Darian Weeks.
Another pass. Looking forward to a performance from Ian Gary.
Fuck it. Ian Gary's going to be added in that parlay. I'm talking about first leg Ian Gary. Even as I read it off, I liked it. I love Poha Burns, but whatever happens, happens.
It sounds like we're all on Vince Pichel. I just placed that actually a second ago too.
Yep. And I also wanted to throw this out live, Dan. Ankle lock Vince Pichel.
I'm game. I think that's a great line. I think it does a lot of unless you want to do the Aljo by sub.
I would. No, that's
a quick 50 units in our game would put us well in first place.
It would, but what about the viewers? What about the viewers, though?
Let's go Vince from Hell Pichel. That's the smart play.
I'm in for Vince Pichel.
Lock it in. Mackenzie Dern, Tisha Torres.
And Vince Pichel will be the second leg of that Ian Gary parlay.
Got it. Dern Torres.
Passing for me.
Nothing doing. But I do want to say that I would marry Dern. I don't know what her deal is, but I was watching and betting all week, and I just want to float that out there. That might age well, so I would marry Dern. I don't know what her deal is, but I'm available.
Trevino and Hamzat.
Man, do I want to play Gilbert by sub.
Me too.
I'm just on the under. Under 2.5, minus 225 at 5 dimes. That's where I'm going. Let's go Poha Burns, though.
I want to play Gilbert by decision. I want to play just now. I'm going to go nothing straight, but I'm going to add Hamzat to that parlay that I'm building up. So we got Ian Gary, we got Vince Pichel, we got Hamzat.
Aljo Jan.
I've got my 2 bets here. I think there's going to be violence. I think it's going to happen early. The under 4.5 is the way to go. And then, man, a dry sub in the first round. As big of a fan as I am on Piotr Jan, an Aljo sub would be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, an Aljo sub would be cool, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I don't even know. It is just a straight pass for me. Or no, you know what? Jan's the last leg of the parlay. That's what I meant. Sorry. So we got Ian Gary, Hamzat Chimaev, Piotr Jan, Vince Pichel, and that pays 2.66 to 1. So you get plus money on a bunch of fights. You get plus money on 3 minus 300s or higher, and then the ankle lock. Bang, bang, bang.
Like it. TKZ and Volk.
I like the over 3.5. I just added it to my card as we were talking. Is the latest ad, but I actually really like the minus 170 on over 3.5.
And then I'll be playing Volk unanimous decision for a unit.
All right. Anything else to say, boys?
Let's have a fun fight.
Poha, brother. Poha.
And still brand new?
No, we're going to have, I think, honestly, wait, hold on. I'm just seeing the future. That's so Raven. We got Gilbert Burns via sub, Aljo via sub, and we got TKZ via Twister.
I love that. I love that. I mean, that'd be a whole fun night of submissions. That would that would make my year if we got 3 awesome submissions from the underdogs in this fight.
Whole hop.
Whole hot, brother.
Oh, how brother. Struggling there?